Hello, my name is Reverend Jeff Will Rumble, and before you ask, yes, Jeff Will Rumble is my real name, given to me by my parents many, 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 many long years ago. I am a pastor in Southern California, and I am also the brother of Susan Lynn, who is the executive director at the Children's Museum in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm making this video for you in order to introduce you to a couple of my friends here and also to tell you about them because they are amazing creatures. This is Speed Bump. Speed Bump, this is his sister, Doorstop. Speed Bump and Doorstop are California desert tortoises. They live in the Mojave Desert of California, which is the southeast part of California. It's very dry and in the summertime very, very hot. They only eat plants, so you can see here they're eating romaine lettuce. They are eating these hibiscus flowers. These are Rose of Sharon hibiscus is what it's called. And they love those. They also are big fans of dandelions. So here is a dandelion that Speed Bump will want to eat. There you go. In the wild, I also give them things like broccoli. They like broccoli, and Speed Bump especially is a big fan of bananas. So I grow some bananas here in my yard, and I'll give pieces of banana to Speed Bump sometimes when I get them ripe. So in the desert, they'll eat desert plants. They come out, because it is so hot there in the summertime, they come out in the morning and also in the early evenings around sunset, and they'll just graze on the plants then, and they go back and they dig holes. So they will dig down into a burrow, a hole underground. They also use holes like that to hibernate during the wintertime. So they spend the entire winter asleep. Speed Bump and Doorstop will tend to go to sleep around, maybe Halloween time. And then from that time, they will be asleep until usually around the end of March. And then they wake up again and they come back out and they wander around the yard and they'll eat everything from the food that I give them to the lawn, to the grass. They'll eat a number of different plants around because that's what they like. They're plant eaters. Now, Speed Bump is a boy, and you can tell that by this. Pick your head up, Speed Bump. If you can see on the shell, how the front of his shell right here curls up, that is a sign that he is a boy. Doorstop over here, the same part on her shell is much flatter. And so she is a girl. The boys will each have a territory, and the territory is usually about the size of a football field, and then the girls can wander from territory to territory. But the boys will actually fight, and they use this part of the shell that's turned up to push against each other and to try and get leverage and hook underneath each other and pick each other up. And that's how they fight and decide who owns this territory or that one. Because of their very hard shells, there's not a whole lot that can damage them. And even then, when they are afraid, when they're frightened, they will pull their arms and necks in as much as they can. So especially once they get to be bigger like this, and these are adults, once they get to be bigger, they're pretty safe most of the time from most things, as long as they don't get turned over. When they get turned over, then they're in trouble because then they can't move and they have a hard time getting back up, and then the sun can beat on them, and that can be very dangerous for them. These two are about 25 years old. Ms. Lynn had them when they were first hatched, and then a friend of ours cared for them for a little while, and then they came to me after that, and I have had them for trying to think. It's a little over 20 years, I think. I think 22, 23 years that I have had these at my house. I had them at where I used to live up north of here, and then I've been here for about 18 years now. And again, they wander around the yard and they're happy. They can live to be as much as 100. So these two will probably live longer than me. One of the reasons that I wanted to make this video for you and tell you about California desert tortoises is that I was out in the desert, out in the Mojave Desert, I guess about a week and a half ago. And I was out there. I was actually looking for, I'm kind of a rock hound, so I was looking for things like agate and jasper. And I found here this piece of, I think it's got some agate. I think the white might be calcite, the red might be a jasper. And even I found this out there on a mountain. It's a place called Sleeping Beauty Mountain. It's right near an area called Lavick, which is famous for jasper. And so I found this and some other pieces that were similar. And just about then, as I started to move off to another place, I don't think any more than 20 or 30 feet away. That's where I found this. Now this is a shell from a California desert tortoise, and it was just the shell. You can see the animal lived a number of years ago. The covering is starting to flake off on this section, but other than that, it is complete. You can see she was a girl. She's about the same size as, maybe a little bigger, but about the same size as Doorstop. So she probably lived at least 25 years, maybe 30, maybe 40, maybe 50, because Doorstop's an adult. She won't grow all that much more. So this old girl could have lived a lot longer, and I just wouldn't know because this is all that I found here. But I wanted to send this to you so that you can look at it and examine it and learn about California desert tortoises. So I hope you have a good time. I hope you have a good time learning. I hope you'll explore and keep learning about this world, because this world is pretty great.